Right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the greatest little Rotary Club in Baja. I'm Patty Cowan, co-president. My co-president Mike is home recuperating, but he's with us via Zoom, and welcome to our other guests via Zoom. First, do we have any guests of Rotarian or visiting Rotarians you'd like to introduce? Miriam? Sure, you can step here. Sure, careful.
Good morning, everybody. I'd like to introduce Irma Gastello, past president from Rotary Club Playas de Rosarito, and her partner. Nuevamente tu nombre, Mr. Vázquez. Bienvenidos. Welcome.
Hey, welcome. I don't see no other guests, are there? I think it's our usual crew. So thank you all for being here. And then the four-way test. Do you want to have Irma read it in English or Spanish? She can read it there, whatever you want. Careful here of the cord.
Hola, buenos días. Leeré la prueba cuádruple en español.
Okay.
De lo que se piensa, se dice o se hace, es la verdad, es equitativo para todos los interesados, creará buena voluntad y mejores amistades, será beneficioso para todos los interesados. La prueba cuádruple es la guía en la que nos guiamos todos los rotarios.
For anyone that hasn't memorized and would like to give it in English. Okay. Anyone who'd like to read it in English? Scott, come on up. Your head fits.
The things that people do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned?
Thank you so much. One of you that's online is needs to be muted. We can hear your background. Thank you. Okay, just a few updates from our last board meeting. We think we all know we've got the 9 a.m. meetings now, the first two Tuesdays of the month here at El Pescador. This is usually the business meeting, but we were fortunate that Steve, this was the meeting this month he could make. So Steve Ellis will be our speaker. Next week will also be at 9 a.m. The third Thursday will be the social at 4 p.m. Various locations, thanks to Ben A helping us organize that. And then the fourth Thursday will be a 1 p.m. meeting back here at El Pescador. And that's what the club voted on. And so that gives us some morning and some afternoon. So hopefully everybody can make some of the meetings. Our next board meeting, they're now the second Thursday of the month. And actually on the agenda, I have the wrong time. That should be 10 a.m. It'll immediately follow the 9 a.m. meeting. So if you want to stay, board members, please stay. All others are always welcome if you'd like to join us. I just want to mention that we still have the secretary position open and the foundation chair. Right now, our board members are rotating, taking notes. Secretary position, if you want to have more say in the club and what we do and be part of the board, we would love to have you. And you don't have to make every meeting. Everyone has challenges in their schedule, and we will assist and back you up if you can't make a meeting. So I hope that someone is interested in stepping forward for that and or the foundation chair position. I just want to bring up that Scott was at our last meeting, and he's going to be telling you a little bit about what he's been working on the website, but he did bring up that we're going to be asking you how you prefer to be communicated with. We don't want to inundate you with so many things that you don't read them via email or whatever. And so, Scott, what were your initial thoughts on communication, the various ways and as we move forward?
I think that we need to ask
every single member how to handle it. Not blame on the guild, but basically say, look, you're not showing up. What is it that's preventing you? And what's the best way to talk to you? Is it emails, a text message, is it a phone call? What do you prefer?
Okay,
And we figure out how to make that work. Like
Okay.
when people say text message, I have a way that I can set up on our website that we can send out bulk text to a list.
okay,
And if that's what it is that it takes, and that's what people want, then let's do it. We've got to figure out how to have better than this.
okay. Are there any other initial comments about that? Because my thought was we're setting up a phone tree and that we would be calling each of you board members, and if anybody else would like to be part of that again, and asking you questions like this. Any other comments on communication? Bene? Okay. So I guess back in June, we called some of our members to see, ask them some questions about why they hadn't been to meetings and all. So the board thought if we set up a phone tree where we each have so many people that we call, and we would be calling you to ask this question, how you want to be communicated with, how we can help you get more engaged for those that haven't been as engaged. So it's something new that we're planning to do, Bene. Mm-hmm. Any other comments or questions? Okay, so we'll bring that then back to the board and set up the phone tree, and then be asking you specifically how you prefer to be communicated with. Marilyn started a newsletter again. And again, we don't want to overwhelm you. We want to make sure that's effective. And so that's why we're kind of doing this. So none of us are doing work that isn't helping the club overall. On to announcements and updates. Erwin and Bene, do you want to talk a little bit about you want to come up here and talk about our numbering system for the food? We're working with the staff here, trying to work out the glitches with the menu. Erwin?
I didn't hear you back there.
Do you, we had you on to talk about the numbering system and ordering that you're working on with the staff.
Oh, for breakfast, it's the same thing that we've done before at the previous location. When you come in, there'll be a piece of paper there for you to sign in. There'll be numbers. So like I'm number 10. My name is at number 10, and what I want from the menu, I've ordered. And what's on the menu is all numbered also. So it'll simplify it. And then when the waiter, the waitress comes in, they'll know where everything goes by the numbers that we have on the table, just like before.
Thank
No
you.
change.
Thank you. Hold on one second. Next is Miriam's demotion party, August 13th, 4 to 6 p.m. Erwin or Gabe, do you want to talk about that to update the members?
Very simply, we're having demotion fiesta. It's not a party, it's a fiesta.
Okay.
For Miriam, for the work that she did for 1 year, guiding us in Rotary. The party is August 13th, and there is a $15 charge per person. It will be at a private home, Mike and Cherie's home as of right now.
Dave, anything you'd like to add?
Gonna be a great party.
All right. Great, good party. Really? Mine was in English. Some people got RSVPs in Spanish. Anyway, and tell Erwin today if you know you're coming. That's great as well. Okay, Benay, do you want to come up and just talk about any speakers or need for speakers and the next social? I don't know if you have a location yet or not.
Good morning, best little Rotary Club in La Mision. So we do not have any speakers scheduled as of right now. We're taking suggestions. I'm so happy to see you here this morning, Steve. Thank you for coming. So please, if you have any ideas for speakers, please refer them and I'll coordinate putting them on the calendar. And for our
to the updated. The elementary school is called Francisco y Madero at El Descanso.
We're back online. So thank you, Miriam. Miriam just gave an update about the Descanso project and Gabe, for those of you online, Gabe did about the Santa Anita Sewer project. Sorry that we went off for a little bit there online. I have an update from Sunny about the Bomberos project. Their initial goal was to raise 5,000, but they realized that they understated some of the costs, both for the building and for what they need to outfit it with bedding and kitchen and all. So now they're saying they need a total of $7,338 or 150,000 pesos. So she is hoping that they're near the $5,000 level now with matching grant from the DeChecos that's with Vancouver and another club's 1,000, but they're still needing help. So if you want to, I'll just pass that around. It's her updated needs. And Mike, I know you'll be getting back to her soon as you start to feel better with the illness you currently have. Are there any other committee updates anyone wanted to give? Any other groups, committees want to update? All right. Then we'll move forward to our program for today, which is Steve Ellis of the Children's Fund, and Gabe is going to do an introduction. And we'll welcome Steve.
So it's my pleasure to introduce someone that most of you know to you, Steve Ellis of the Mision Children's Fund and one of the founding members of our Rotary Club. Steve has been instrumental in our club's work in the community in getting us started. He brought us many projects when we were first starting out that were hands-on, that connected us with people in the local communities, that gave us the opportunity to start making a difference and build partnerships within the local communities. Beyond that, Steve is just a great guy. I'm pleased to call him a dear friend. We have worked side by side for 6 years now since we started this club. He has always been there when I've needed assistance, and I think we've always been there when he's needed help for the Children's Fund. The Children's Fund is doing a phenomenal job with the food bank, with Becca, and with just making a difference in the local community. Please join me in welcoming Steve Ellis to the club.
Nice to be back. The Mision Children's Fund has three major areas. Excuse me, I've got a cold, so it's not COVID, it's just a head cold. We run the Becca program, which is a scholarship program for the Mision area. We have about 100 students in the Becca program right now. 47 are university students. The budget for the Becca program is around $35,000 to $40,000 a year, and it's fully funded. The number of students that we have in that program are down a little bit right now, but that's mainly because of COVID. I'd like to point out that the high school here in Mision, which has done an absolutely phenomenal job against all odds, including some occasionally teachers and administrators not being paid. But the number of students that graduated from the Mision High School, I believe there were 37 graduates and 26 of them were admitted into university last year. That probably isn't something that's replicated anywhere in Baja, Mexico. We also are the coordinator for UC San Diego's engineering school. We do engineering projects in, most of them are done in Tijuana for orphanages. We have 4 projects going in Tijuana that just started back up because of COVID, had this school shut down for a little bit. We have 2 water projects going at the Hacienda de Immaculata, which has about 60 children in it. These are reverse osmosis, ultraviolet light, pure water projects, including 250-gallon water storage facilities of pure water. Morado del Niño Jesus has a solar water heating project that they're in the process of completing right now. And Casa de San Jose, which is in central Tijuana, also has a solar water heating project that they just started on, actually they'll just start on Saturday. The big project for the Mision Children's Fund is the food bank. The Mision Food Bank, which has been in operation since I believe before my wife and I moved here. I think that project started in 2009. When my wife joined the Children's Fund, we had, that'd be 2015, we had 55 families that came to the food bank regularly. The budget then was $560 a month. Today, the Mision Children's Fund, in July of this year, we did 600 families. That equates to the total population of Santa Rosa and Mision. We also do, and for the part of that reason is we also do Ursula Gervan. We deliver food to that community, which is one of the poorest. I mean, it's unbelievably poor. We have about 40 families in Ursula Gervan, and then we also deliver food to the migrant communities, and I believe that's about 50 families. But the problem we have with that is our budget went from $550 in 2015. Right now, we're at about $7,500 what it costs us for food. That budget is up 35% this year, and it was up for the entire year. Last year was up 35% for that year as well. We are struggling mightily to continue to provide rice, beans, flour, cooking oil, frozen chickens, canned pasta, canned tomato sauce. We're on the verge of starting to cut the amount of food that we provide, or we have to cut out either the migrant communities or we have to cut out Ursula Gervan. We haven't done that, but we are maybe a board meeting away from having to start making those cuts. This Rotary Club had been in almost all of the projects that we've ever done. But as a matter of fact, I believe the first project this Rotary Club was involved in was putting screens in the high school in Mision. And we've continued projects together until the COVID virus hit, which kind of shut everything down. This Rotary Club still, I believe, provides $10 a member to the Mision Children's Fund. And for a long time, the chickens that we gave out, which were at some point 200 and some chickens a month, now it's up to about 600, and we're not going to be able to continue that program. The cost is just too high. But this club started that program, and for years it had been instrumental in providing that, which is probably the most substantive thing that anybody in the Mision area received from the food bank. We have one other project that we've got. We were for a long time we were the sponsor of Morado del Niño Jesus orphanage in Tijuana and the San Jose school, which was also in Tijuana. We've had to give those projects up because we just simply The food bank is our number one concern. The Becca is our number two concern. And unfortunately, the demand for the types of services that we've been providing is just exceeding our capacity to do that. Anyway, thank you to the Rotary Club, because without your help, when we started all of this, I think I was a member in the second meeting that this club had, and thanks to Gabe and everybody that has been involved in this for a long time. Rotary Club is instrumental in helping us with everything that we needed. The bagging program, we bag rice, beans. We bag that once a week, and Scott and his group come in and they, without their help, we just simply couldn't do that. Anyway, thanks to all of you. Thank you very much. We love you all. Without you, we really couldn't survive, but we tried. Thank you.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any questions?
You're talking about having to potentially make cuts. How much short are you each month?
I'm sorry, Scott.
You said that you're talking about potentially having to make some cuts.
Yeah.
How much short are you? How much money do you need to not?
A lot. We are bringing in about, for the food bank, we're bringing in about 5,000 a month.
You need salaries?
We're about 2,500 a month. The last 2 months have been disastrous for us. 5,000 a month, we've got enough in donations that we can do that. I mean, repetitive donations. But food costs have gone up just so dramatically that we're not able to keep up with it. Beans have almost doubled this year, pinto beans. The cost of chickens have gone from around $460 for a month to about $800 a month. The costs have just gone, I mean, costs are out of control right now. So we have a big deficit. We've been very fortunate in the fact that we have money in the bank that's come in the last 4 or 5 years. We actually were, I think, 4.5 years ago, we were on the verge of closing the food bank completely up. We made some changes. Scott actually helped us design a better website, a better newsletter. And we've been able to bring in enough money so that we were on top of it until this year. And we're just, we're really struggling. We'll probably have to get rid of the chickens, which are a big part of it. That's probably the biggest nutritional particular, I mean, certainly from a protein standpoint, the most important thing that we do, but it's also the most expensive. If that answers your question.
Any other questions?
As most of you know, when we pay our dues, we are given the opportunity to add something to that to help fund the food bank. Lucio and I recently increased that amount that we are adding in, and we really encourage everyone to look at what you're putting within your dues for the food bank and encourage you to increase that amount. I don't think our treasurer will have any concern about taking in a little more money and distributing it to the Children's Fund.
I'd like to, Scott, I'd like to invite anybody in the Rotary Club that hasn't been to the food bank. We're open every Wednesday. I think the first Wednesday of each month we deliver to Ursula Garbon. The deliveries to the migrant camps are on Scott Friday. But any Wednesday that you'd like to come by the food bank, we can always use extra help. We don't ever have too many people. Anybody in the Rotary Club is more than welcome to come by and see exactly what we do. We are located just before the Mision Bridge, next to the rock store. One thing I probably forgot to mention, of the 550 to 600 families that we are providing food for, we keep a census of everybody that comes here to the food bank is registered, so that we make sure that they're, people that get food or people that live in those communities. We have 1,600 children in our community that we're feeding. 1,600. If we're not feeding those people, it doesn't make any difference what our Becca program does, because you're going to have to either leave the area, or nutrition is going to be so poor that you're not going to be able to be successful in school. So anyway, thank you very much. Gabe.
Yeah, I was at the food bank yesterday, and Bev was pointing out to me that the building definitely needs some paint, and so she's gonna work with Stella to get some community volunteers, and I told her we would be glad to get some volunteers from the club to help paint the building.
And we need the bathroom door fixed.
We can make that happen too.
Thank you.
I think the other thing that's a note is that when he says they're feeding 600 families, they're not getting food every week. They're getting one time. They can come one time per month, and it's not enough to even last a week. So they're helping with what they can, but it is not enough for what everybody needs, but that's what they can do. And the other part is that if you can increase your Rotary, amount that you're giving to the food bank from Rotary, great. Or if you can do it right from their website is also great. But if you can't do money and money's not something you can spare, then they take any other donations, clothing and shoes and any canned food, they can help and distribute any of that stuff. And, when we go out to the field workers and distribute, there are all these kids out there that are left to themselves, where the families are working in the fields all day long. And they're all by themselves, and not this last time, but the time before, there must have been 25 kids. And there are one area we went to, not one of them had shoes on. This last Friday when we went, I noticed in this group of 6 or 7 kids, 2 of them had their shoes on the wrong feet, and they don't even really pay attention to it. They're not in a position, and they don't have any parenting out there, and they're kind of left to fend for themselves. So anything that you can give helps. And when wintertime comes, they need blankets and jackets and things like that. So there's always something, even if you can't give money, that we can do to help, or get somebody else that can help donate and help them out.
But please don't bring used clothing. If it's fairly new, that's great. But be respectful of the people that we're giving this to. Anyway, thank you very much. Oh, Gabe, one more time.
You mentioned the UC San Diego Engineering School.
Yes.
We might talk with them about the sewage project and see if they have people that might be interested in
That's a good idea.
helping us with that.
Actually, I'm meeting with Emilio. He and Gail are coming over to our house next Saturday. And he's gonna bring over some drawings that he's got, and we can take a look at those. And yeah, that's an excellent idea. I will do that.
Great.
Benny?
I have a couple questions.
I can't hear you,
And then
Benny,
wanna come up, so
unfortunately.
it's hard for, I think, here.
The ambient noise behind you.
Yeah, I was gonna see if maybe we could rearrange the setup for us going forward.
Yeah.
And maybe moves us away from the door. But my question, Steve, is I know the Blues Against Hunger is an organization that travels up and down Baja, collecting food for food banks. Is our food bank getting any of that from them?
We haven't gotten anything. No, that group, we have gotten absolutely nothing.
Okay.
I guess I should have mentioned Mexican Social Services, DEEF, before COVID, we would buy, they would bring us rice, beans, flour, and we could buy maybe Mexican social services. We have increased the amount of rice, and particularly we've added extra pasta and a couple of extra cans of food. And we can get maybe 10 days, that an average family of 5, we can get about 10 days, but we've never seen these programs. They've never come. So if you know of them, we would love to talk to them. We would love to get the help. And we definitely need help. We're a number of families. If you look at the census, the total number of families in Santa Anita and La Mission doesn't equal the number of people that we're feeding. And, you know, that's not abnormal for Mexico. They're always undercounted in census.